In 2019, towards the beginning of the year, I overheard somebody talking about rice water and how rice water could grow people hair. So after a while, I decided to make research on rice water. So I googled it and I was seeing a lot of amazing things about rice water, how rice water could help people's hair, how water could grow people's hair and all that. So I decided to use YouTube, and I was watching a lot of YouTubers talking about rice water for extreme hair growth, rice water hair mask, rice this, rice that. So I decided to try it on my hair, and believe me, that was the greatest mistake. That was the worst thing I've ever done to my hair. Not because rice water isn't good, not because every single tip about rice water is fake, but because I made research on rice water. I didn't make research on my own. Hello everyone, my name is Oge and you're welcome to Being You with Oge. So let's continue our story. So I decided to try rice water on my hair, and that was the worst thing I've ever done to my hair. And I would like to emphasize this, not because rice water is no good, but because I made a mistake researching on only rice water without researching on the possible reactions rice water could cause to hair. So I used rice water for like the first time, and the second time I started experiencing a lot of things. I started experiencing extreme dryness. My hair was simply so dry. I don't know why it feels so dry and brittle. I started experiencing excessive shedding, like excessive breakage. Whenever I take down my braids, my hair breaks a lot, and I kept on using rice water. I thought rice water would solve the mistake, and I kept on using rice water, and still I kept on getting extreme breakage, and I kept on using it because I even made other research about rice water, and I was like, rice water works for these people. I watched a lot of YouTubers, I watched a lot of things, and I was like, rice water works for these people, it should work for me. That was back then in 2019 anyways. And then anytime my hair feels dry, I never knew about moisturizer, I never knew about a lot of things like that. Anytime my hair feels dry, I'll get coconut oil instead of me to use a moisturizer. I never knew that, so now I know. Instead of me to use a moisturizer, I'll use oil. I never knew oil was a sealing agent. And then my hair kept on breaking and got even worse, to the extent that whenever I pack my hair together, it feels so scanty. I was even like so down to the extent that I had to start making research on possible causes of hair loss. I was seeing genetics, I was seeing sickness, I was seeing one thing or the other, I was seeing this and that. I was like, no, I'm not sick. I don't think it's genetics. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's that. I never knew that it was what I was using that was causing extreme damage to my hair. So one of the reasons why rice water caused damage to my hair, which I never knew then but I know now, is because my hair is lowly porous. Now if you don't know, there is something they call hair porosity. There are three types of porosity: low porosity, normal porosity, and high porosity. Probably I'll make a video explaining all this. You can check your hair porosity. The thing about rice water is like a protein treatment. Low porosity hair does not like protein treatment because protein treatment tend to dry out the little moisture that is in a lowly porous hair, and therefore feels dry and brittle. So if my hair were to be highly porous, then rice water would have worked perfectly well for me. That was one of the things that caused extreme breakage to my hair. And another thing was that, like I said earlier, I never knew about moisturizing hair. And so whenever my hair feels dry, I would use oil, and I would use coconut oil, which does not really work for low porosity hair. So if you are using coconut oil and your hair is feeling dry and flaky and brittle, then probably your hair is low porosity, and coconut oil doesn't work for low porosity hair. So I was using coconut oil, and my hair was even breaking the more. So I would use olive oil. It doesn't even help to stop the breakage. My hair was really breaking. I was feeling so scanty. So another mistake I also did was that I never diluted the rice water after fermenting it. I don't think I used plain rice water. Probably I used it just once, but I think the rest of the rice water I used were all fermented rice water. So I would ferment the rice water for 12 hours, sometimes 24 hours, sometimes a couple of days. Never really dilute. I think the first time I actually diluted it with warm water. Then after that, I never diluted the rice water again. I would just use it directly on my hair. And at times I might not even wash it off. Instead of washing it off, I would just rinse it off. So that was another thing that caused extreme damage to my hair. I would like to sound this: rice water is actually very good for the hair. But before you use rice water, I would love you to go and test, go and check whatsoever, go and check not just the advantages but also the disadvantages of rice water. Probably then you will know what to prevent when you are trying to use it on your own hair, because rice water doesn't work for everyone. And know your porosity, your hair porosity, because rice water is protein treatment, and believe me, it could damage any hair that does not really want anything that has to do with protein treatment. The thing is, whenever you see anything on YouTube, try to watch a lot of videos, not just one video and assume, but try to watch a lot of video and try to know both the pros and cons of that thing, so you don't use anything that could damage your hair, so you can find out if there's any possible damage of a particular thing you are trying to use on your hair. So throughout that time, my hair was breaking. I tried a lot of things to stop it. In fact, someone even suggested that I do steaming. I steamed the hair, but it wasn't helping. Even after I stopped, when I could not take the breakage anymore, I decided that okay, let me just stop rice water. Like, let me just stop it, since it started not too long from when I started using rice water. So I decided to stop it. The breakage didn't stop. The breakage only reduced a little bit for months, almost a year. From that 2019 to the early part of 2020, my hair kept on breaking. And it was not until I started finding out what moisturizing your hair is, what could work for your hair and what could not work for your hair, knowing your hair porosity and knowing your hair type, before I finally was able to stop the breakage caused by rice water. So I was able to stop the breakage caused by rice water. I stopped rice water. I think the last time I used rice water was last year. I have not used rice water ever since then, and I have a video of how I was able to finally stop the breakage and recover from scanty hair to this. Now, able to recover from the breakage, my hair don't really break anymore. And as you can see, before I started using rice water, I had a length of, I think, sorry, I don't have pictures because then I never even knew I was going to be doing YouTube. Before I started using rice water, I had this kind of, I had length here, my length was up here, but after the breakage and after I was able to find out other things I could do to recover from rice water, I've been able to grow my hair a couple of inches in just a couple of months, because I started last year September, and in just a couple of months I've been able to grow it down to this place. Let me show you the back view. So I don't know if, I think, okay, so in just a couple of months I have been able to grow my hair a few inches, which I am going to share with most of the tips I used, most of what I used, and most of the tips I used, and most of what I found out about natural hair that you should know about natural hair, because a lot of YouTubers just post a lot of videos about rice water. Only a few of them tell you the cons of rice water. What you see most times are the pros. I'm going to share with you a lot of tips I used to regain the fullness of my hair, to stop my hair from breaking, and I was able to grow my hair a couple of inches in just few months, because that was last year September and now we are in January. So I'm going to sound this warning to you. It's not anything about hair and hair stuff and how it could work for your hair on YouTube or internet. Try to find out how that thing you heard about or that thing you are trying to use is related to your hair porosity, because what works for a lowly porous hair might not readily work for a highly porous hair. So if you've been using rice water and you are seeing negative results, I will say it's probably not because rice water is bad. It's because rice water might not readily work for your hair. What works for somebody's hair might not work for your own hair. So probably you should stop, or instead of fermenting, you should just use the plain rice water, or maybe you should dilute it after fermenting with warm water, rice milk. Probably I'll make a video of how to make that. That's my experience of what is rice water, like I said last year, and I don't think I'm ever going to use rice water again. I don't know, I don't think I'm ever going to try it again, because I are seeing positive results. Keep using it, it works for you. But if you are using rice water and you are seeing negative results, stop using it, because it will only make the results worse and worse. Video, and you want to be hearing more from me, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, turn on the notifications, and I'll see you all in my next one.